I took a fluffy Raven Guard list to a tournament, only took fixed secondaries, and went undefeated. Check it out.
There is only war.
Hey y'all, I'm Matt DeFranza. I've been playing 40k for around 20 years. I've won my fair share of grand tournaments. I've won them with Space Marines, with Guard, with Tau, with Eldar. And I'm making some guest content for the 40k Dirtbags channel and for Derek, the guy who runs it. So what were the rules that I set up for this event? First, it had to be Raven Guard, which means that Strike is required. Second, it has to be fluffy. Raven Guard are sneaky, they're surprising, they bring justice, and they're a little bit vengeful. And third, I can only take fixed secondaries. So let's take a look at the rundown. The list is designed around a null deploy. Null deploy means when you reserve or remove most of your army from the table so that your opponent can't interact with it in the early turns. Usually this coincides with an alpha strike or when you hit your opponent before they have a chance to hit you. In this particular case, it's Raven Guard, so the way that I'm accomplishing a null deploy is that half of my army has loan up and the other half of the army goes into reserves. This way they can respond to the threats that the enemy presents. So for the side that's going in reserves, it's the Ancient and the Captain, both leading to 10-man Terminator bricks. They both go in deep strike, have the teleport homers, and they can come down or rapid ingress as they need to be able to respond to the opponent. Then I have Shrike with 10 Assault Marines. They have loan op. They can redeploy later on. They usually hide out and bubble out the center. This means that if the opponent comes to the middle, I can respond and take whatever he puts out there. And then it's the supporting crew in the background are 3 squads of infiltrators with 3 Phobos librarians, a lieutenant with combi weapon, and the Gladius assassin. These guys all have loan op. They can all forward deploy. They sort of gain board presence, and they help me position well for fixed secondaries like cleanse or for like deploy teleport homers. I also built it so there's no armor and there's no monsters. And with the infiltrators, it's really hard to get into my backfield. So most people are taking tactical secondaries at this stage. They are better, generally, across the board. But I think the over-reliance on that and the lack of building around fixed makes fixed an opportunity. What I mean by that is, because of this build, getting things like investigate signals or behind enemy lines or area denial, things like that are going to be very difficult if the opponent isn't really well equipped to set them up. And because I can get rid of bring it down, I can create some duds in the opponent's secondary scores as they move through. I don't expect to max out my secondaries every single time. They're really hard to get. But if I can also deny the opponents at the same time, that makes it reasonable. And I won't get pushed by tactical secondaries into making poor decisions. So for my checklist, is it Raven Guard? Does it have Shrike? Check. Is it fluffy? Check. All right, so this is round 2 of a tournament. If you want to check out round 1, I'll have it linked up at the top here and down below. But in round 2 of this tournament, I'm playing Mission J, which is priority targets. So max at 10 points per turn for 2 objectives, plus up to 15 at the end for holding 3. Chilling Rain, which is no secondary, and Crucible of Battle, which is sort of the angled deployments. My opponent this round is Andrew. He was a great guy. He had an awesome themed Necron army. I'll show some pictures in a second. And his list is based around having 2 bricks. One is the Lich God brick, the other one is the Warrior brick. They both have 2 Overlords and 2 Technomancers in them, so they're very hardy, very difficult to remove. He's got an Immortal Squad for sort of secondary grabbing and objectives, along with some swarms. His Reanimator anchors the whole middle, and then he has a brick of Locust Destroyers, the Void Dragon, and the Doomstalkers, surrounded by the Hexmark Destroyer, and they sort of shift and move around together to be really beefy, hard hitting anti-tank sort of units. So if I look at his list, it looks like his strategy is that he's going to take big, hard to kill units, push them forward, support them with long range firepower. That's tough, but that also means that he's going to be fairly slow. It also means that all of his characters are going to have to move forward into his squads. Since I'm Raven Guard, I'm going after characters by fluff. So what I'm going to take is, again, cleanse, because I think he's going to be slow moving, and I can dictate the terms. Not too different than last round's tactic. I'm going to put Shrike in the central location. If he wants to put anything forward, he's going to have to trade with it. And then I should be able to, in the chaos, manage my cleanse while pulling out characters. So I'm going to go with Assassinate for my second one and Cleanse for my first secondary. All right, so for round 1, I got top of turn, which again is not something I really like, but it worked out. I take Shrike and deploy him centrally. I have my infiltrators up at the top and at the bottom, and then the 1 infiltrator squad strung out across the middle. He didn't declare anything in reserves again. Normally my infiltrators are back there to block out the back end, but there's no need for them. He has no redeploy, he has no infiltrators, he has no deep strike, no reserves, so his sort of utility play is not going to be present. So my guys can dedicate themselves just to the objectives and nothing else. At the top, I also put my lieutenant with combi weapon, and in the middle is the Gladius assassin ready to vect and to move into the middle. His deployment was not altogether surprising. The Lich Guard brick are behind the wall. The Warrior brick, which he wants to have losses on initially so he can bring them back, are lined up right on the line, up in the middle. And the Scarabs are on the bottom. I guess he's trying to block out some deep strikes. Scarabs at the top are blocking out deep strikes. His Necron Immortals, which I'm surprised they weren't reserved, are hanging out in the middle. He has the Kenneth Tech Destroyers in the middle on the right-hand side, and then his large brick around the top. All the Stalkers, the Void Dragon, the Hexmark Destroyer, they're all up at the top. And then the Reanimator is centrally located between his infantry bricks. So from his deployment, you can see that he's going to try to push in the middle with both infantry bricks. He's going to use his utility units for secondaries, and that the Stalkers are going to pivot around while the Destroyers pivot around in order to try to get firing lanes on my units. I don't have any armor. I don't have any monsters for him to take advantage of, but they will hurt the Terminators if they can get line of sight in mass. So at the top of turn 1, I cleanse my objectives, move my 2 units forward, and pass turn. Takes a minute, and it's finished. For bottom of turn 1, he does something not altogether surprising. He gets extend battle lines and investigate signals. Extend battle lines is going to be hard for him. He pushed back, respecting Shrike's allocation there. And for investigate signals, he moved his Scarabs up at the top right there to get investigate. The Scarabs at the bottom are too far away to be able to get wholly within 9 inches. And that's a deployment issue, right? And Derek talks about, or we'll be talking about on the channel, how you deploy for secondaries. So because of his deployment, he wasn't able to capitalize on that one. He only got 2 points for investigate. Both of his infantry bricks are pushing forward, which is the only tactic they have. And the Stalkers and the Void Dragon around the top are pushing around the outside to get lines of sight on whatever they need to get to. So at the end of his turn, he gets his 2 points and passes. And again, 2 quick turns. Top of turn 2, I move my infiltrators around a little bit more, cleanse both objectives, pass turn. Takes another minute. I get my points, and then it's down to him. For the bottom of turn 2, Andrew gets Overwhelming Force and Deploy Teleport Homers. So Overwhelming Force he's not going to be able to get. He can't interact with the units that I have on objectives, so that's a dud. And then Deploy Teleport Homers, he has to get into the middle to get there. And this is what I mean by sort of forcing bad decisions. He essentially has to offer up his entire Lich Guard brick in order to get that secondary. So he gets 3 points. He totally does. Moves forward, gets onto the objective, Deploy Teleport Homers, nailed it. However, now I can respond, right? And I do. I bring down Rapid Ingress. The Terminators, they're going to be in position next turn to do what they need to do. And he can't shoot or interact with anybody else, so he passed his turn real quick. He's got 5 points for his objective, because he only has 1. Again, back deployed. And 3 points for his secondaries. But now I have 20 Terminators and Shrike and the Assault Marines all lined up with the Lich Guard brick in the center, and that's the backbone of his army. And Oath a Moment on those guys. I should be able to take care of them. They are incredibly beefy, very difficult to kill, but that many Marine bodies should be able to do it. So end of turn 2, we're like 5-10 minutes into the game. I have 14 points, Andrew has 10. So we did get this rules changed wrong. The Rapid Ingress is only allowed to be done once now. I used one for the Teleport Harm, and the other one I used the Captain's second ability, but it's not a battle tactic. And so we did get that wrong. That should not have happened this turn. I do apologize to Andrew. We found that out in round 3. But I oath, like I said I would do. Both 10-man Terminator bricks moved in. The Assault Marines moved in. We had this giant cluster going on in the middle. And this is what we're going to do, right? They appear without warning. They strike, and then they vanish. I move up. I still cleanse like I'm supposed to. And I jump in and deck all of the different Marines that are in here. I kill the entire Lich Guard unit, including the characters. One got back up, killed them again a second time. And then I moved over and tapped the Warrior Squad. I'm not going to do any real damage to them. I think I killed 4 to 6 of them or so, but they're going to come back up. It's really irrelevant. It was just sort of to force his unit to be less efficient in the next turn. But between all of the shooting and all of the combat for all of those units, they took him down. And what's really important is that Shrike moved in and killed out the Overlord for the Warlord. So he did hunt them down and became vengeful and eliminated his Warlord. So end of the turn, I got my 10 points on my primary. I got 16 on Assassination, killing 4 characters, and my 4 on Cleanse. For bottom of turn 3, Andrew kept Overwhelming Force and drew Engage on all fronts. His Scarabs in the back didn't have to hold out for a deep strike anymore, so they moved forward to engage the Infiltrators at the bottom. The Stalkers and the Void Dragon all moved around. The Void Dragon had to move around the building and was stuck back there, and so he didn't get to get as far as he wanted to. But they took some shots and eliminated some of the Terminators. The Warriors fell back. Immortals moved up to engage. Destroyers moved up to engage. They all fired in and did some damage, relatively speaking, to the Terminators. With cover, with Armor of Contempt and things like that, I was able to generally stay alive most of the way through. So at the end of his turn, he got 5 points for his primary, and he got 0 on his secondaries again. And at this point, he discarded the Overwhelming Force. So on my turn, I recognize that I have to keep my cleanse up, and I do that. I'm going to likely not be able to cleanse the bottom anymore. 20-man warrior brick is not going to go away, and he's going to out OC me for that. So I'm going to focus on the middle and the top. In order to do that, I have to eliminate the top threat, and I still need to get one more character done. So I move forward. I oath the Void Dragon, the Terminator brick. At the top moves up to engage the Stalkers. The other Terminator brick moves over to eliminate some of his units and slow down any warrior push back towards the middle. So they come through and they hit the Immortals and the Reanimators and remove both of them. The ones at the top eliminate 2 of the 3 Stalkers, and I kill off the Hexmark Destroyer. And then Shrike, in the fashion that he does, engages and kills the Void Dragon again in combat. So Shrike's tally now is up to, I think, 4 characters. 2 Warlords, Magnus, the Void Dragon. He's doing pretty awesome being vengeful. Alright, so for the bottom of turn 4, Andrew draws Capture Enemy Outpost and Secure No Man's Land. Capture Enemy Outpost is impossible at this point. Again, he deployed defensively, and I've slowed him down enough that he can't get there. So he, at this stage of the game, recognizes he needs all the points he can get, discards that one, and picks up No Prisoners. He was not able to get Secure No Man's Land or No Prisoners, but those are the 2 that he had for this turn. He, again, is working from one objective in the back, this one now down at the bottom with the Warriors. And so he grabs his 5 for the turn and is not able to get any more secondaries. The Stalkers at the top, they're just waiting to go down. The Warriors at the bottom engage, but they don't do much damage to the bottom. And then the Destroyers fire in and do some damage, but there's not much else going on. For top of turn 5, I have all of my points already except for the last cleanse, so I cleanse in the middle, moving the Infiltrator Squad, the Calidus up there, and I cleanse up at the top. So I have my max points, remove the last Stalker, and then really just pass turn. There's not much else that I need to do, and I don't need to stop him from getting whatever he's going to get. So for my objectives, I have a max on 50 for the primary, and a max on 40 for the secondary. So I'll hit 100 for mine regardless. And then on Andrew's turn, he keeps No Prisoners from last time and draws Area Denial. So he does get No Prisoners. He's able to kill a unit, but that's all that he ends up with. So at that stage, he ends up at a total of 42 points with paint. So we ended up 100 to 42. And you can see the tactic at play. Right, Shrike covers the middle if he moves something forward. In opposition to last match, right? Last match, Sean didn't want to engage in the middle because he didn't want to trade. In this match, Andrew was sort of forced into that situation because of the deployed teleport homers. So he pushes into the middle to get there. This is the thing that Sean was avoiding in the first match, right? Was having me come in and sort of get an alpha on top of him that way. So this way, Andrew came into the middle. I was able to pull off the sudden strike on him, sort of break his back in the middle. And then from there, he didn't have enough to respond, and I was able to push out. As an aside, if you cannot kill the Lich Guard brick in one go, I definitely wouldn't waste time engaging on it, right? It'll come back at full strength before the end of the game. You need to be able to remove it all at once or not at all. So in this match, I hope that you guys saw some of the feedback that you had for us. Right? We changed colors on the different pieces. I had more shots of the game in the video itself, and a myriad of other things that you guys had in the comments. Some of the stuff I just didn't have time to get to. I apologize, but we'll get to it soon. That being said, for the rest of you guys, leave your comments. Let us know what's working, what's not working. If this character creeps you out, because that was some of the comments, let me know, because it's a lot of work, and I'm happy to not do that if that's the case. Do you guys like the graphics, not like the graphics, whatever it is? Please let us know in the comments so we can make this better for you guys. This is to help you in the community. Also, this is Derek's channel, 40k Dirtbags. He's done great work here. Please leave a like and subscribe. Show him some love. And we have round 3 of the event coming up against Eldar, mechanized real fast. Stop by and take a look at that, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.